You know, sometimes the most common words, the ones we just use every day without even thinking about them, are the ones hiding the most amazing stories. And today, we're going to dive deep and unpack all the complexity hidden inside just one single, simple word. We've all seen this, right? 1,000 times. It's how you start a letter. And that word, dear, it just feels so simple, so common. It's almost invisible. It's just a polite way to get a message started. But oh, that's really just scratching the surface. So is it really that simple? Well, this is where things start to get really interesting, because behind this familiar four-letter word, there is a surprising amount of depth and versatility that actually tells us something really fundamental about the English language itself. Okay, so our first stop on this journey is looking at the word's most common job as an adjective. But even here, dear is kind of working double duty, pulling in two very different, almost opposite directions. And this is where it gets so fascinating. On one hand, you can say, my large stamp collection is very dear to me, right? It means it's precious, it's cherished. But on the other hand, you could say, that diamond ring is too dear, which just means it's way too expensive. So right there, you see this word split personality. The exact same word can express deep emotional value and a really high price tag. It's a word for what you hold close and a word for what's priced just out of your reach. That's pretty flexible for just four little letters. But hold on, the story doesn't stop there, not even close, because dear isn't just a word that describes things. In a way that might be a little less familiar to you, it can actually stand all on its own as a noun. As a noun, a dear is just a kind, loving person. It's a term of endearment that becomes the name for the person you have that affection for. It's a really lovely, if maybe a little old-fashioned, way to describe someone. And this sentence shows it perfectly. My cousin is my dear. See, you're not just saying she's dear to you. You're saying she is that quality. She is herself a dear. So now we've got an adjective and a noun. And believe it or not, this is where things get even more interesting. All right, let's peel back another layer of complexity, the sound of the word itself. Because how we say dear and what our brain hears, well, that can add a whole other dimension of potential confusion, or you could say richness. So depending on where you are in the world, you're going to hear a little difference. In British English, it's a pretty clean dear. But in American English, we tend to hit that R at the end much harder. Dear. It's a small shift for sure, but it just goes to show how even the sound of a simple word can change. But here's the real twist. It doesn't matter if you're using a British accent or an American one. That sound, dear or der, is actually already taken by a totally different, completely unrelated word in the English language. And there it is, deer, the animal. A word that sounds the same but has a different meaning and spelling is called a homophone, and this shared sound means that context is absolutely everything. When you hear that sound, your brain has to do the super fast calculation. Are we talking about a loved one, an expensive ring, or a four-legged animal out in the woods? Okay, so deer is a two-faced adjective, it's a noun, and it's part of a homophone pair. But why does any of this actually matter? Why have we spent all this time digging into one little word? Well, this is where it all comes together. This is the key question, isn't it? We've peeled back all these different layers, but what's at the core? What makes dear more than just a fun little linguistic oddity? The answer is, well, it's foundational to the entire English language. Okay, so here it is, the crucial point. It is because of its complexity, its incredible flexibility, and all its different meanings that dear is considered such a fundamental building block of communication. All that versatility gives it some serious power. And hey, this isn't just my opinion. This special status is actually official. This simple little word has earned a spot on a very exclusive, very important list known as the Basic English List. So what is that? It was a project from back in the 1930s designed to be a super simple, functional version of English for people to use all over the world. And the heart of it is this very carefully chosen vocabulary. And how big do you think that vocabulary is? Just 850 words. Think about that. Out of more than 170,000 words in current use in the English language, dear was picked as one of the 850 essential words you need to communicate pretty much any idea. That is incredible. So let's just quickly run through the journey we took. We started with a simple word and a letter. We found a two-sided adjective, a noun for a loved one, a sound-alike that could trip you up, and ultimately a foundational word for the entire language. And that's really the big takeaway here. That one simple word is actually a universe of meaning. It's this amazing testament to how the most basic parts of our language are often the most powerful and complex, doing all the heavy lifting for us every single day. So I want to leave you with this final thought. If a word as common as dear has this much history, this much duality, and this much importance packed inside it, just imagine the stories that are hidden in all the other words we use without even giving them a second thought. What else is hiding in plain sight?